on this spirit box that she's listening to. I'm like, these guys were men of faith, like, that were on here. Like, you have to imagine it was probably the 50s and 60s when this thing was really getting some action. I didn't know the full history of it, but those guys were praying that they were going to make it through.
Yeah.
So again, it's always a theme, always a theme. All right, go have fun. Let's spread out. I'm gonna go smoke.
All right.
She's like, all right, I'm on
Yeah,
it.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm
You
going
almost
this
out
way.
of fluid? Yep.
Let's go this way.
I was going to grab your juice from the car and I didn't. We've heard .com like 50 years or 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
.com.
No. Definitely not a pirate term.
Yeah.
So the second night I had this upgraded camera, I caught the craziest orb I've ever seen at this location. I'll show you guys before we leave. Yeah, it's nutty. Like it was intelligent. Like moved towards me, then changed direction. Like went towards me, stopped, then changed direction. This humidity killing me.
Yeah.
It's kicked up tonight.
I wore pants because I knew the mosquitoes were going to be coming out.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere, all over our legs.
I was like, I'm not getting beat up again. My ankles are already
Word of
full.
God.
Well, we're next to the church.
Ah.
Religious terms. It happens here all the time. And I don't even bring it up until you guys tell me you heard it. So you heard God?
Because
The word of God.
yeah, you really can't hear most words at all until.
Or wait till you listen to it with your own ear headphones or whatever you're going to use. It comes out crystal clear. Like you're going to see all the little shit that I find because I use,
Yeah.
in my ears, both ears. So
Yeah.
no distraction.
Huh.
It was word of God.
Yeah.
Interesting. And she heard pirate earlier. Like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
By the way, that picture doesn't get much better than that. I have it like a dozen times over.
Hey, can I smoke over here since
Smoke
the?
wherever you want.
Okay.
I noticed Joe lit up.
Oh, yeah.
Weird, you don't find cigarette smokers a whole lot anymore.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good picture, babe.
Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, but.
Well, you won't find a whole like I smoke a tobacco pipe.
Mhm.
Like, and I have a pipe before every tour. So I normally smell, of like peppermint mocha or vanilla or whatever the hell I'm smoking. But I vape like all day long. As a writer, I can't go outside every 5
Sure.
minutes.
Blame it on me. Oh.
Yeah, they're just gonna cut through.
We could go over by the, where that sign, we saw that on Barry's store. Where you got the picture from the cemetery
Okay.
across the street.
What did he say?
Did you get red yet? Nothing. I think it said something about rent.
Warm and fuzzy. Oh, put it down. Stop.
Why are we stopping?
Because you're looking at me with the camera. I'm trying to put it down
Oh.
so that.
Don't, we're not recording people.
I don't think non-invasive means anything.
Mm-mm.
Garcia and Ikea.
That hot stuff was funny though. In the corner.
Where are we going?
Over across the street, there's
Oh.
where he just showed that picture from, where it's the woman with the child in the back.
Oh,
Barry showed us that too. On the floor.
I don't remember.
They'll be walking away from it in a minute. Because we went there and he told us about the picture and then
I hear nothing now.
I turned it down.
Is this the graveyard right here?
As soon as the groups leave, we'll walk over there. comes the group.
$59.79.
Like monkey wrapper. Just like, oh yeah.
Things ready to fall out of my ear.
You still smoking? Yeah, it's the most humid night ever. Of course, we were drinking too. And
This whole place, like, Market Street, it's just like people. Yeah, they're making their money off of like shit they make. It's all like these little figurines he makes, like out of metal. Yeah. Like, what the hell? Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. And then there's a lot of live music here too. Yeah. So like, I'm dusting off my guitar now. I'm like, oh, I could do AC/DC.
doing instruction.
Well, you guys have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you again for enjoying the tour and everything.
Yes, thank you.
If you guys need anything, you can always hit me up through my shop.
Sounds good. We might actually look into your stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's over here. Like if we stand in this corner, is where the grave was from the picture. But we walked through here with. I think here comes another tour. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan? The song's been following us all weekend. Angels.
Yep. Oh, we hear angels.
And he said, like, when we were by the other church, the Word of God. That is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan. We heard girls just want to have fun.
Really?
Yeah. Again. Can't get rid of that song this weekend.
I know. It's following us everywhere. Anne, what color was your hair?
Come on, Ann.
Anne, what color were your husband's balls? Green.
Ryan. Woo! Poor smell kicked up. Just a glass.
Did you hear burning down the house?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
7 things up here all the damn time. If you have traveled with any damage that occurred to it, it's kind of a weird idea, but it doesn't work.
Just came outside.
He's getting directions. I'll have to get the hell out of
Oh.
here. I'm quick with the wit. Did you see that? It's like he's out of here. So, the reason I bring those earthquake bolts up, because you guys have been seeing them all over town. They've been pineapple heads and lion heads and all kinds of craziness. It's just our Charleston charm, because the shit doesn't work. Even the apartment building behind it actually has earthquake bolts in it on both sides. So again, they're running crisscross each other. But the crosses on the powder magazine, those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. Why? This is the oldest government building in South Carolina. 1713 is when it was finished. We're here because this is a familiar. What basically it's like using a toy to attract a child most. We don't have many buildings this old, and especially where tour guides are allowed to go. Notice I air quoted myself as a tour guide, because again, I'm not a typical kind of guy. I'm just a paranormal investigator having fun. But anyway, hopefully we're going to find something here.
Palmetto
because of the
bug.
familiarity of this
Sorry,
building.
Brian, look out.
Oh, we got friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe,
I've seen a
grab
lot
your
tonight.
purse.
It's the humidity.
Yeah.
There was a lot in Philadelphia Alley, in case you guys didn't notice, but I wasn't about to tell the people who are all wearing flip-flops. I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. I'm not going to scare the shit out of people that way. That's just mean. So, our story begins right in the middle of its construction. This building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, 1708. Follow me. There's a lot of twists in this crazy-ass story. A young lady by the name of Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Oh, yeah. Okay. The three of them are running away from his angry wife. You guys all with me? Got it. He's like, yeah, that's kind of some crazy shit. How pissed off was she? You gotta leave the country in 1708.
Let's read out much for children. Child, let us pray.
Right? They land in Georgetown. It's just north of here between us and Myrtle Beach. So, Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation. Hence the familiar building, which is why we're here. Now, young Anne back home in Ireland, it was said when she was a young lady, so 8, 9, 10 years old, killed one of her servants when she was only 10 to 12 years old. So again, it's all up in the air of what age she actually was, but I just want to give you the mentality of this young lady as we go through her story. We're going to fast forward. This building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love pretty quickly. Guy number 1. Yes, we're going to keep tally. There's a handful. This is a let us pray kind of moment. So, first guy, James Bonney. You already see where this one's going, right? We've already mentioned her full name. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They run away. They elope. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonney. So, when they get to Jamaica, this guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. A coward. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the Captain Jack Sparrow that they based the character off of. So, Calico Jack. John Calico Jack Rackham was his full name. He does have his own ship, and Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
A lot of men and one girl.
And that's your first thought.
Okay.
They're bad luck. So, just can't put a girl on the crew. So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide yourself as part of the crew, you can be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate, let's go. Let's put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults here. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and that Jack let her onto the ship. He drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here with some friends of mine that'll help you out. Come back later, we'll figure it out. She has the baby, but returns with no baby. No amount of research I've done can find what the hell happened to the baby. But the irony of this whole part of the story is that she came back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, and while she was away giving birth to his child, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting to make Jack even more pissed off, because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Her name is Mary Reed. I told you this story was nuts. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. The name Mark does show up here from time to time. So her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, we're never going to know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannons yet, because they haven't been pirates for very long. So they get arrested, and Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog is very prominent on our spirit boxes, obviously. We heard dogs barking the other day, which was kind of an odd thing. But at the same time, the judge, his name is Nick as well. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's tried and hung Calico Jack and his drunken pirates that wouldn't fight 2 days before that. So the 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they said, meaning they're both claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman at 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money. He bails her out. She comes back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed, has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84.
Wow.
Yes, very abrupt. Wow. Mary Reed dies a year later, 1721, in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm sure it was scurvious, bumpy, gross, nasty, whatever you want to come up with. I left out 2 questions for you spirit box and communication device folks on purpose. I'm not going to give you a slew of questions like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion, because again, this is a free-for-all. You guys all know what you're doing by now. But the 2 things I left out for certain: the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship on purpose. I am going to steal you for 1 more minute before we spread out, because you guys can go all over the place. You guys can check out the front of the Powder magazine if you want to. Just don't interrupt the other tours. You can go to the other side of the street and get some footage of there's no ghost here, but the Holy Ghost kind of piece over there if you want. Again, this is your last. I want you to have fun. Intermingle your devices if you want, but there's a reason why I give that heated warning like what I did at the beginning. Back in September of last year, it was much cooler than this. It was towards the end of the month. I brought my group back here. The kid next to me starts to go white as a ghost, and I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side. We carry him over to that wall because there's a ledge where he can sit down, get him some water, feeling better. I then told him the story that I just told you about Anne Bonny. It's important to know that they didn't know the story yet. I spread everybody out to go have some fun. They pull me aside and tell me that they are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on the tour. I didn't know that. I don't normally pry and say, "What's the relationship?" or "What's your pronouns?" Like my teenage daughter's on a tour. Like she will walk up to another teenager and say, "What are your pronouns?" I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" But that's a thing, yeah. So again, I didn't ask. But again, these are the types of things that I see all the time. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site. So especially if we're getting spikes of triple digits on the EMF meter, like they drop like wet noodles. It's too much information for them to handle. So again, that's why I give the heated warning. First time somebody passed out on me, I was in CPR class the next day. Like literally. I started this business, I was like, oh shit, what the hell did I get myself into? I just make sure I don't take you to too dark of places. Like I will never take you guys to the jail or anything where there's like dark spirit work to be done there. Like that is not where you take the general public that's had a few drinks. That's not a good time. So let's spread out, let's have some fun. With yours, Ryan, this is where yours gets super fun. Because yours, you're not going to see any numbers unless you get close to the street, which then is going to be the parking meters. It's all about the colors for you. Ask Anne Bonny to show you her hair color. The only way she can do that is to touch it. Oh. It's red. So I'm going to give you the flat out answer because the only time I've ever gotten a red directly has been in this space. And that was just a few weeks ago. So we've been doing it ever since. And somebody who may not have been paying attention will walk up to me later, not that you weren't because I know you were, and say, I heard the color red. I'm like, well, shit, it was supposed to show up over there. So again, it's a matter of like, I never know what's going to happen and where the answer is going to go. So do you have anything that we need to know about before we start spreading out? Because you guys are going to go to work. I'm going to go sit down and have a smoke.
Anything? No?
Yeah.
I will tell you also,
what color
this
is
is
Jill's
a
hair?
over spot. There's a lot of stories around this corner, so I always look to see, and I don't tell you everything or else we're going to be out here till like 3 in the morning. I wait to see what's actually going to pop up on what you guys are telling me or what may show up there. Let me check my word list before we got the word bright. And I see we had the color orange.
On the other
as we were
hand,
coming
does
up
that
this
mean
way.
anything?
That's so weird. I don't even know what the hell that would, because I even looked at it like that's a weird term, thinking of all the stories around here, and it doesn't relate to
Let's say
anything.
it. On the other hand.
And we're
Yeah.
very interesting.
Does on the other hand mean anything?
On the other hand.
Well, yes, it
Pretty
does.
vague.
Yeah.
Be all wrong.
I know, right? I'm just telling you guys crazy bullshit all night long, and they're like, on the other hand. I'm sitting here like, it's no fun for drunk people, and they're like, on the other hand.
I don't know if we had a pirate that was missing a hand, or I don't know.
No, this ain't Peter Pan.
When do you start doing the jail tours where we see?
That's not a space where I'm going to be. They're not going to be doing those anymore,
No.
and I won't take people there. My investigation there, like, it was my wife, who's not normally influenced by what I do out here, because you gotta remember, I don't just do tours, I do my own investigations too. So when we went there, she dropped like a wet noodle, and I got her feeling better, and she's like, you're gonna put me back, aren't you? I'm like, I have to prove the space. So I marked it with a leaf or something, and I put it right back in the same spot within 30 seconds. Same thing again. So we left, unfortunately. I will tell you that all of my spirit boxes, because I had 4 of them running that day, they all gave me names. There were thousands of people that have been jailed there. I can't possibly prove, I have to look at it as a whole, that that's the anomaly. They're all just giving me other names. I had Mitchells and Johnson and Johnny, and all these weird names coming through all these different spirit boxes. That was the theme of it, and that's how I look at it when I'm doing an investigation of like, what's the theme? The Yorktown, when I did that investigation, it was all religious. My daughter was with me on that when I was doing that investigation, and she's like, why are we getting things like priest? Worst case scenario, because it is a hit or miss location, we'll either have absolutely nothing, or you'll learn a shit ton about pirates that you never thought was even possible. Especially, you guys should see me during Women's History Month. Notice there's like a theme of females around my groups, so around my spots. So we're going to go up and around that spot. You guys can continue recording if you'd like, but it's going to be a very busy tour area, so we're going to just kind of find our spot and stay out of their way, and then we're going to spread out full investigation, everything out, balls out to the wall kind of thing, and then get everybody working on our last stop to hopefully find some evidence about Ann Bonnie. So, any other questions or anything we may have heard while we've been here? I know it's hard to focus on me and that at the same time. Oh, look at that. So, I'm excited. That's me excited, guys. Did you guys see the fist bump? Yes. So we have the word cows on the word list that shows up while we're here. Before this was called Dueler's Alley, this was called Cow Alley. Reason why, remember this was shut off on that side. They used to keep all the livestock here in the city. So, Cow Alley. You're going to get a link to that so you guys can actually see the proof of that. Oh, and before we leave, because I forgot to do this with the last group, because I don't normally come down here, this gate is the reason why I stopped here. In the event there was a loser to a duel, that guy, this was a shortcut. We did have loser, and I thought about that, but we were a little far away for it to count. This was the shortcut to get to the cemetery. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down the alley with the dead body. That's a lot of dead weight for guys that want to go catch a pint, and come back around to get to the cemetery. This was the shortcut. The wrought iron gate was probably put there in the late 1800s or late 1900s, and it belongs to St. Philip's Church now. So, again, this gate wasn't always here. This was just let's get the dead body out of here so we can go celebrate the winter. You guys ready to go talk about pirates? Because pirates can be some crazy shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. I'm excited about cows. Yay. Let's talk about vampires and I get the word fight.
Oh, go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm trying to listen and
You turn it up a little.
listen and listen.
New bag
Did you hear like 10 seconds ago I'm alive and free? It was a country song. Sorry. Did you hear the laughing?
The laughing, yeah.
Kind of like sounded like the beginning of Hungry Like the Wolf, but still laughing.
Mm-hmm. We heard some laughing coming into the park.
I heard. You can hear it over here. No, I'm kidding. I heard you guys talking about it.
Andy, I'm alive and free.
Sherry, really? You're not going to take a picture of the full moon by the steeple? That's not like you.
My phone sucks, so it would
She's
never
working.
pick it up. I'm working. Eating up.
All of this right here was yellow. And it stayed like that for like 10 minutes before it just went away.
Finger. Your finger's going to show up yellow if it's over.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's like this.
That's from the lighting. It's the only flare we have.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
tried to omit it by getting rid of the last bit of light.
That's okay.
Come on over, guys.
So wait, should I do like medium here?
We're going to spike it out.
Spike it out?
Yeah, but this is not known for its EMF spikes, so. Ryan, let me know if you get a red on that thing.
No, Las Vegas.
While standing still.
Sure, Las Vegas has nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
No, pirates were not in Las Vegas. They may have been if they were in the wrong, if they were in the right time
They were
period.
lost.
I know, right? So I'm sure you guys noticed a bunch of tours always go over by St. Philip's. There's a
Oh,
reason for it.
sorry. I knocked your thing out.
Sorry.
I'm going to give you the quick gist of why all the tours stop over there. First off, I give it to them because it's their last final hurrah. It's usually their last stop because they have something to show. I'm going to give you the very brief synopsis of it. Again, the show for you guys is working with the crazy gear. So again, I let them have their one little measly picture. So there's two different sides to the cemetery. I always point that out because your vice president, John Calhoun, is buried on the other side of this wall because he's not from here. That's the reason why there's two different sides. There's native Charlestonians on the other side, and then there's everybody else on this side. Calhoun actually got shuffled a couple of times trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. Turns out he's not from here, he just lived here for a very long time. So again, you can see his sarcophagus during the daytime. If you guys were living here at the time that they took down the Calhoun mansion, or the Calhoun statue, I was actually in cahoots with the Washington Light Infantry at the time because I was working on another project, and I was trying to get out of them where they were going to take the statue. He could not disclose that information. So again, it's still in protection at this point, just so it doesn't get damaged. The first thought was to actually put it next to his sarcophagus, but they were worried about damage from it, just for it being like actually literally on the ground. My guess is it's probably going to end up going to Philadelphia. So that's just my guess. So they're all over there staring at a sign. The sign says, "There's no ghost here, but the Holy Ghost." Yeah, the church put it there on purpose, and there's a reason for it. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. I slowed down on her name because we've already talked about initials, and her initials show up here all the time. Sue Howard Hardy. It's cheesy, it's campy. I hate telling you guys this cheesy shit, but it does occur all the time. So, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very quick, abrupt story. But it continues. In 1987, a local photographer is taking pictures of our beautiful cemeteries, putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition in one of his pictures while he's developing them. He doesn't know what's going on with the picture, so he doesn't have the technology that we have either. It's 1987. He sends it to Kodak. I don't think I have to explain what the hell Kodak is to this group. That's cool. Teenagers all guess that it's a bear, like a Kodiak bear. It cracks me up every time.
Isn't that dip?
I know, right? So Kodak doesn't know what to do with the picture either. So for guys like me, this thing is gold. I'm going to show you all the picture, but it is cursed to females. I'm going to ask that nobody touch my damn tablet. Here's why. Females that handle it, even in a digital format, are said to have the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. The headache, the dizziness, the nausea, those kind of mentalities. Even if we do have something that pops through in your spirit boxes, and I have to give you a link to it, if the picture's in the link, I will put warning cursed photo. Like, I take this shit very seriously, obviously. The other part of that is if it's a pregnant female handling it, they're probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the stillborn child of the story. So I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon or a great birthday and 9 months later I curse their family. So again, just don't touch my damn tablets. It's the only thing I ask. I will zoom in and kind of go 2 by 2, couple by couple, so you guys can all see it in detail. No.
Okay.
1888. So pirates then were not of the golden age. So this is the full photograph that he took. Here's your apparition right here. You're looking at her shoulder. She's praying over her own grave, and the baby basket is next to her. This is probably another instance where the baby is buried with mom. I cannot find the records of the birth of this child or the death of this child. So I've been through the church records during those time frames. There's a full pic.
Wow.
2 shoulders, heads, baby basket, and again, that is her grave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you could see it once you actually, and when you get even closer on a computer, the weaving on the baby basket is crystal clear.
Wow.
So it is, like I said, for guys like me, this thing is gold.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it is.
but again, that's why they're all over there trying to recreate whatever's there. Now, the church even put up a light to try to deter any kind of crazy camera work or anything like that. My shit cuts right through it. Wow. I'm waiting for the red on that one.
Red.
I know, I saw the green. I know the tone of red, because I don't get it very often. So, let's get into pirates. That's the crazy stuff of why we're here. I'm going to move my back a little bit closer so you guys get the full history here. You had pirates?
I had pirates. Remember I said, did she get pregnant by a pirate?
No, but we're going to be discussing pirates. You heard pirate.
I heard pirate.
Beautiful.
That's crazy.
Is it though?
She could better sleep tonight.
I mean,
Like, give me an earbud.
I'm still listening.
I'm getting a lot of dark blues, but I'm not getting any
Temperature drop.
Any
Yeah,
temperature
any temperature
changes.
drops or not.
Again, much easier to see both videos when I send them to YouTube so you guys can watch them anywhere.
Take the long way home.
Oh, nice. Remind me to write that one down.
Okay.
The building behind you, that's the powder magazine. Those are not crosses on the building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're unfamiliar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, which we haven't, you can turn the turnbuckles with big giant...
Oh. Think I'm in love? Well, 101.7. That's Chuck FM. Are we turning this up at all, or?
Yep.
I didn't turn it all the way, no sensitivity.
Let's turn it, let's crank it in here because we don't normally get a whole lot of EMF in this.
Really crank it?
Yeah, turn it all the way up. Let's see if we can.
Am I
If it gets to
recording?
be a little nutty,
I don't
turn
know.
it down. I will tell you, Ryan, with your device the other night when we were in here, we had a very quick spike of 18.7, which that's pretty high for this location. I didn't really explain what these numbers mean, so if you're unfamiliar with EMF, picture your television, and behind that area you have a bunch of wires, right? Because your TV and Blu-ray players and all that stuff's plugged in. Ryan's device back there will probably pick up on a 40 to 60 milligauss reading. We had a 30-something over at the Pinckney Mansion site where there's no electricity. And it went away pretty quickly, like they always do. Your microwave running on high, if he was standing next to it and put the device close to it, it's going to read about 150 to 170 milligauss. The highest I've ever seen that device go is at the Pinckney Mansion site at 214 milligauss.
Oh, my Lord.
Dangerous levels. I have epilepsy. We got the hell out of there. Those kind of EMF waves are going to mess with my head. We had to go. I gave them the answers at Lodge Alley. We didn't even investigate the space. I did tell them the history. We went to an extra space instead. So again, I had to kind of play it by ear. That's dangerous stuff for me. So, where the heck are we now? Philadelphia Alley. This place is very interesting. It's kind of a staple for every ghost tour in town. Of course, I'm going to tell you the story a little bit differently just because we're ghost hunting. You need different details. So you're recording, that's good. You can get some footage in here too if you want. So just keep in mind, tours may be cutting through us. We'll kind of split the seas when they do. Again, it's kind of a staple.
Gotcha.
And we're allowed to go down halfway. But again, for us to investigate a space with 20 to 60 other people in here, it's just not fair to my team to do that. But I like to stir some shit up, so let's do that. This place used to be called Dueler's Alley. Did you hear totally? Nice. Yeah, because the guys from the 1780s say totally. Love it.
I've been here. This was a part of the tour. Dueler's Alley.
Well, you're going to have to move out of the way because you got a whole group coming up. We're going to park the seats here. And again, we don't film people, so just be kind of mindful of it. I see you're getting some letters now, which is good. So it's not coming through too good.
We got a, back there, we got a "you're doing fine."
Yeah, I heard, I wrote something down along those lines. That's what I heard you guys talking.
And what else did we get? Something
Whatever
else.
the numbers were for the station, 1017 or 1071.
Something about I'm in love.
101.7.
Did somebody else hear that phrase?
She said something about love, yeah.
Oh, I think I'm in love or
I wrote
something.
that down too.
Okay.
I pay attention to you guys all night long. Let them come through.
Lost and found.
Lost and found.
It was cutting crew.
Oh, you're fine, you're fine. So, Dueler's Alley. That's what this used to be called.
We'll go this way.
Oh, okay. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because not all of them were, it was illegal, so they had to kind of find their own spots. So we all tell the story of the same duel. Again, you're going to get different details out of me than what they're getting or what they just heard. So here's how this one goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of cash from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of that money. The attorney thinks that the doctor's just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor. Get him out of here. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's cash. And the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here in Charleston. But somebody was walking by. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I stopped there because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI was showing up here a lot even before we had the Ouija board. So again, remember, I've only had that thing like a month. They were showing up on spirit boxes, on I actually had an R show up earlier, but we weren't close enough to where I was excited about it. With that said, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He didn't say dude, really. It's the 1780s. I know. But we also had a totally, so I'm forgiven. But you don't want to stay here. He's going to kill you. So I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. They become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. And she's moving down soon, so they can get married. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliche whistling ghost. I can put my paycheck on it. So this one, we actually have proof from. We're going to talk about that later on. But anyway, him and the doctor go see plays together. So they go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. Just kind of how things went back then. So they're talking about this play. The doctor thought the new actress was awesome. Ralph, not so much. Gets into a heated argument when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, kind of making, trash talk about his girl. So they go their separate ways. Ralph, living here for a long period of time, is friends at the newspaper. So he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the newspaper ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit once and for all. So, throwing in extra curse words because you guys are a loose group. So, just makes it more fun. They come down here, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he proved his point. He's still pissed off. He's not willing to forgive, but he didn't want to kill his friend either. Dr. Ladd's friends pick him up after he's been shot, carry him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember this guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed this out himself. So, the campfire ghost story part of this is as you walk through the alley, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. Keep in mind, if you're going to try this on your own and turn on your voice recorders from your phone as you walk and stroll through the alley, because I'm going to tell you why I can't go down there, keep in mind every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Queen Street or Cumberland Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night, especially since I've been booted out of it, going all the way down.
Wait, you've been booted out of there?
What's that?
You've been
Oh, yeah.
booted?
So, with my tour. It's residential down there. Like
Gotcha.
literally, Lodge Alley is the cutoff. Like that's why I took you all the way down to the extreme, and it comes up across this way. We're allowed to go. It cuts across. Like there's a plaque down there that we're allowed to go down to.
Gotcha.
That kind of allows 3 to 4 tours down here. So like 20 to 80 people. So again, I don't always come inside. I've been doing it the past week because it's been rainy and I've had much smaller groups, so it actually worked out really well. Plus we have the whole alley for ourselves. We're getting great footage from Rodney over there. Hopefully we'll actually capture something here. However, they also say you can hear the gunshots from those particular duels. I don't have any proof of gunshots, but I do have proof of the whistles. First off, I was giving the story over there at that white building that says Marchink building, and we would get songs on those red spirit boxes with whistling in it. So like Maroon 5's Move Like Jagger, Guns N' Roses' Patience. You know, we would get specific parts of those songs with whistling in it, which I found very uncanny all by itself. Here's how I got booted out. I used to take my groups all the way down, like I said, but it was because there's a piece of history down there. This alley didn't go all the way through to Cumberland, which means those bricks on that side are older. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children, which means we have a full handprint from a slave child and fingerprint swipes at the end of the alley. And I would always point them out because I'm sure you guys picked up, I'm all about the history. We all have to see it. It shows how far we've come. However, everybody wants to try to get a reading out of it. That poor slave kid is not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. My group on November 26th of 2020 decided they're all going to huddle around that one brick and try to get a reading. I'm trying to shoot them along, and it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley, and the new owner just had enough of my groups coming by every single night. So we come out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail for over 20 years, management. You can understand why I took Thanksgiving off. So we moved on, and then November 28th, I got a phone call from the tourism office asking me to either go down halfway, like what we're allowed to do, or to reroute my group. Again, not fair for my 10 to work around 20 to 60. So I rerouted my group, and I told them, I don't even believe in the story, but we're going to see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard Ann on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate Ann Bonny. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, so I was like, all right, maybe something's going to come out of this. We get up there, I told the little bit I did know about pirates, which wasn't much then, and somebody else hears the number 300. I'm like, all right, I don't know what that means. I'll research it in the morning. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, are you good? So, keep taking you guys back up there, and ever since then, and I've read more books on piracy than I ever freaking wanted to. So, there's a whole shelf dedicated in my office that's nothing but pirate lore, and trying to piece together factual data for you. Fair enough.
Apologize.
Okay, that's why we record everything. So, you have the one that's recording, right? Okay.
Can you tell?
I can by looking at the numbers. Yes, we have the one that's recording. We're still recording. That's good. So, welcome to Lodge Alley. This is a very weird space, and I'm sure you guys have noticed I like to go where the other tours don't like to go to. We will possibly see one or two down here tonight because it's Saturday. But what is this place? When we crossed that last crosswalk right before the lady was yelling angrily about her shoes, did y'all hear that? Yeah. It's like we have the most crooked sidewalks in all of America.
Right. I heard.
I know, right? Somebody's laughing at the lady. Yeah, couldn't walk on her damn shoes. So that was where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. It went up Cumberland and it went on the other side of East Bay Street going down. We are now inside the original Charlestown city. It was called Charlestown, 2 words, not Charleston.
Right.
So this is one of the first streets we ever had. This is Lodge Alley. It wasn't called Lodge Alley all the time, but the reason why I asked you guys to listen for names along the way was because I have the full list of residents along that ever lived here. So it's not a very lengthy list, but you guys always tell me the same 2 names over and over and over again, Benjamin and John. So again, I don't put any of those subliminal messages into your head. Now we did talk about Big John earlier, but again, we didn't talk about him for a while. But Benjamin and John both lived here in 1801. That's 2 out of 5 people that lived here. That's not coincidental that I hear it every 6 to 7 weeks that you guys tell me. Every 6 to 7 weeks is like a loop. So right now we're on week 3 of that loop. I wasn't expecting Benjamin and John, even though you guys weren't listening anyway. I'm still going to listen to that portion along the way and see if Benjamin and John things pop up. Here's why this is happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. These bricks, they've been here since 1739 that we know of. So again, they could be older, could be a little bit newer than that. It's a couple hundred years. they're made of granite. Granite is not supposed to hang on to any kind of electromagnetic fields whatsoever. Ryan, put your device on any dry brick that you want to. We should not have a reading coming out of these at all up to 1.1 is natural from the earth. I mean, when I say put it down, like literally put it on a brick and let it sit there. See if you get any numbers out of it while we're standing here. Basically, the stone tape theory states that any brick that is natural, or any kind of stone, rock, can hang on to the memories of the things that occurred here. Because I keep getting those names every 6 to 7 weeks, in the past few months I've been gauging moon phases, weather, temperature, conditions, those kind of things along with your tour notes to see that when something does pop up, does it have to be the same type of conditions? So normally we will see like up to 1.1. Did you get any numbers out of it?
Yeah.
How high did it go?
It was not much.
Was it over 2.5?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna say, because if you had up to 1.1, 1.5, like that's natural. I've seen it go all the way to 15 in this location as we approach that 6 to 7 week loop, usually week 5, 6. Notice I say like two numbers together. It's very hard to pinpoint when exactly it's going to happen. So I don't always expect something, but we never know. The Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here before people lived here. That's why it's called Lodge Alley now. We will get terms relative to Freemasons, symbols, Mason, Freemason. Illuminati loves to show up on those red spirit boxes. The funny thing about Illuminati is you guys will normally hear it as we're entering the alley, and it's on a radio station. Who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? Second, why are we only hearing it while we're here? So again, my word list, I looked at it as we were coming in. I didn't see anything. It was kind of...
Yeah. That's creepy.
What's
We
that?
just heard Cincinnati, which like, that's where we're
All four
from.
of us are from there.
That's actually, I said, it could be relevant to you. So, are you guys all related in some
No,
shape,
Fred.
No. He was his old boss like 25 years ago.
It came through clear as day, Cincinnati.
I
Yeah.
started working when I was 20.
Well,
Whatever, dude. Mr.
17.
50-year-old.
here's another question. Did you guys work with somebody that died, that passed away? That you both knew?
Griffin Fisher, didn't he die?
No.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Griffin
I did not
Fisher
know.
is dead.
I didn't know he was.
Okay. What was the first name again?
Griffin?
Griffin Fisher?
But he has the same last name as us, but we're not related.
Wow. Okay. We'll kind of see how that goes. We'll never know.
He's dead.
We don't
I
spend a lot
thought
of
I
time.
heard he was dead.
We don't spend a lot of time here. First off, this holds onto humidity. These bricks really hang on to it, so I'm not going to keep you searching
Is
long.
that why I'm pouring all this?
Not to mention, we're right next to a hotel room. It's a quiet area. So here's what's going to happen next. We're going to go to another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it. Why? I've been kicked out of it. We are going to cut through to the one side of it, and we're going to let tourists kind of mingle on the other side of us, like cut through us. But normally, lately, I've been like going across the street, just trying to stay out of the alley, because I did get kicked out because you guys have the blinky lights and all the noisemakers in the film. And I'll
Well,
explain why I got
with
kicked
Bill?
out, because Jill's like all excited, like Nick got in trouble, I want to hear it. So I could see it all over her face. But again,
Vice President Harris. It was just random. I don't know.
You just heard that?
Harris.
hang on to that one for me. Like, I'm going to put a pin in it because it is a possibility that's relevant to where we're going. Sometimes we'll get that bleed over. So at Pinckney Mansion, sometimes we get bleed over from Big John and vice versa. Now that we're kind of away from there, it could be this space to Philadelphia Alley to the very
Sweet
last space.
emotion.
We're in a very tight area. We have 3 stops left. So this is 1, the next one will be 2, then a final. So sometimes we get bleed over from all 3. It just depends. Again, we don't expect these kind of clues based on where we were at Pinckney, but vice president is a term that will be coming up very, very shortly.
Okay.
So
It was just like strong, like all of a sudden it's like blah 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 blah. And then Vice President Harris.
Right behind you, I'm getting a 10 degree. It was 10 for a second. Like, it was like right here. But it was,
Digging Marley?
This was like 89, 90, and it was like 77, 78.
definitely take a look at it when I'm reviewing it. Much easier to see when I put it up on YouTube because I watch them on a nice big computer
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
All right, when we exit the alley, you're going to stop your videos because we're going to cut through a neighborhood to get to that next alley. We don't record
Okay.
houses, just like
Okay.
cars.
Gotcha.
I'm listening this time.
So turn it on. Start recording now.
As we exit, we're going to turn it off. We'll be recording now. We're going to let this up to the top. Which way do you go? Okay, I'm there. There's so much to get through. Brian's leading the way, so he knew where we were going, right?
You're doing well. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Careful, guys. Slow down.
I thought you were trying to provide light.
Cumulus.
Definitely kill those cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, it just told me F you.
What happened to Eliza's mansion?
We heard 5-1, and it's all or nothing.
That doesn't make any sense to me either. All right, so here's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the phrase "hot stuff" that you all heard. I'm also excited about your child does the math, and that's because Eliza actually was involved in a little bit of teaching. But she was involved with teaching the John Locke idea of tabula rasa. So basically, what does that mean? A child is born with a blank slate. So basically, they're influenced by the events that go on around them.
That's crazy. Your child does the math. Put that on with that.
Who heard? What was this? The child what?
Your child does the math.
And who heard that?
We did.
They do.
You did.
Go ahead and kill the REM pod. That's the little white button in the back, Ryan. But we're going to still keep an eye on the numbers on the screen, just because that tone and flashing lights can be a big distraction for everybody. So whenever I break out the tablet, guys, it's going to...
Right, lift this up.
Yeah, lift that up and hit the button on the right, the one you pushed into the device.
Well, is that legit or there's something wrong with it?
That's him jostling it around a little bit. So whenever I get out the tablet, I usually go around the room. Again, it's warm enough and humid enough out here. But this is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So this is the woman that we were just discussing. However, a few things I left out because of the size of our group and lack of spirit boxes, because I do have 4 more in the bag that all do something a little bit differently. This is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife also has a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Her name was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So this one married Charles at the age of 22. He was 45. So again, kind of a creepy age gap, but it's not 12 and 25. So we'll take that, right? The mansion, exactly where we're standing. This is the only photograph we have of the mansion. It did catch fire in the Great Fire of 1861. This is the fire damage. You guys heard hot stuff.
Right here.
So again, that's where I'm coming into play with that. So I'm going to be looking with those notes that you guys gave me, if there's the date that's in there as well, which was 12/11/61, which sometimes will occur when we get a term like hot, flame, candle, fire, blaze, anything obviously relative to a fire. So we have a, bless you, we actually have a first clue, so I'm excited. That just gives me something to work with tomorrow morning, and of course for something to you guys. Now, if you guys have been taking tours all over town, you guys have all heard about great fires of whatever year they happened in. This is the fire that took out the Pinckney Mansion. This is a map of Charleston. You're standing on that green dot right there.
Wow.
So it literally went from one side of the peninsula to the other side of the peninsula. This was a giant fire, $5 to $9 million worth of damage. So again, I don't know what the hell that equates to today, because I'm sure inflation changed again this morning, right? So as far as the children go, there were 4 of them. So 4 children. You're getting a bunch of letters right now. What do you have? That's the one that I didn't bring my glasses.
Oh, Sherry, break out your glasses.
I still got nothing on any of that.
But could 5 to 1 be 5 minus 1 is 4?
I thought of that. it's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
So, again, I like to get those direct answers.
But the hot stuff and your child does the math.
Your child does the math. I'm going to be putting you some links, obviously. And by the way,
So,
those of you with cameras, you can
because
kind
you
of give your
said
hands a break again. So go ahead and stop your videos.
You said it. And the mansion.
Video. It's a weird thing here.
We could walk, like, not toward the dumpster.
Alright, what are you two doing over here?
Haven't caught anything yet. We asked about how many members and how many children in the family and what happened to the mansion. We haven't caught anything.
Have you heard anything at all? Even something silly? Because again, it's not always going to be a direct answer to your question.
Not yet.
Okay. Again, some people struggle with this. This is not an easy thing to do, just so you guys know. So when I'm going through this, I listen to this every single morning with my first cup of coffee. So when you see my notes, you're going to be like, how the hell did he get that? It's one of those pieces, it's just a weird saying for me on the radio. So again, no matter, like, drop it like it's hot, it might be a big deal. Or it could be you might hear horses, or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What color's the big red barn? Kind of mentality. So you just never know.
Yep.
So it's a matter of listening for whatever you can actually grab at.
Nothing's really tuned in at all other than
The
the
camera
blind
did
melon, no
a
rain.
really weird little zzz thing in it.
That's good. You were recording?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good.
It was like right here. It went.
So that's why you guys are hanging out here. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're still recording. I can see that much. You're also going to see your timer kind of do little weird little jolts too. So if you see, like, it's right around, like, I want to say like 10 minutes and 15 seconds or something.
Okay.
The files for this are giant. So like every 10 minutes or so, it actually starts a new file.
Okay.
So it may have been that. I don't want to discount
could be.
that.
Could be.
Unless it was a full squiggle, like the screen went a little wild. Like, it's literally like just a little flicker.
Okay.
So again, that could have been
It may have been the flicker. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But again, that's why you guys keep me around. Debunk shit.
Okay.
Not everything's paranormal.
Are there any areas maybe we should move to?
So
Historically?
top corner, based on your questions that you have, might actually be a good hotspot.
Up here in the corner?
Yep. And it's away from cars. That helps you.
It's the mud.
Your child is
Is
doing
doing
the
a math. Gift card Amazon. Boundaries. What you
Find
got?
anything?
That little corner spot.
Can you shine over here? Do you see anything in this direction?
No.
Nothing?
Look. You gotta look at the camera.
Right where you standing is like real dark.
Is it real cold over
like
there?
navy blue. And it's like in and out.
It's cold right here?
Like over where he is. It's picking up something. We're trying to figure out what it is.
Like you standing right in the middle of it.
Is this cooler right here? Oh. Uh-oh.
right back, you're going right back to it. And it's like,
Names
it
you
gets
don't want?
dark,
What
I
is
didn't
it?
hear that.
and then it lights up, and then it gets like it's real dark right now.
Oh, you're going off over there.
Yeah.
Nick!
Yes. Right behind.
My big thing.
Danger, watch out for.
Yeah.
That's what this said.
Yeah.
Right there, might fluctuate.
But we don't know what it is.
Real blue.
I don't like the danger, watch out for.
We're fine. I'm just taking them down as they come in.
Oh yeah.
Georgia.
I think that was Luke.
Oh, I don't like earbuds, so it's hard for me
You can
to...
take it out for a while. I can let you know if I hear anything. I'm gonna go tell him what we've heard so far.
Kind of know like where my focus spots are going to be and what can be counted as a comparable, or is it just something from the space?
Like right now, it's like a 8-degree difference.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that yet. About 15 and more.
This is what we've heard so far.
Oh, look at you guys.
He types everything in a notepad.
Your child is doing the math, boundaries, hot stuff. Danger, watch out for in Georgia. So here's what I like. I like your child is doing the math and hot stuff.
I need to do what
I'm going to be writing those two down.
Okay, so tell me, how old was she? Was she passed?
I'm not going to tell you yet.
Okay. The only thing I heard that was anywhere close to that answer when I asked the question was mid-70s.
Was what?
Mid-70s. That's the only thing that popped up.
It's Eliza, correct?
She was 70 exactly when she died. Yes, Eliza with a Z.
And you heard what?
Mid-70s.
I heard mid-70s.
Oh wow.
It came through like
So
a temperature
here's
thing?
what because you guys are both right here. This will be a perfect explanation. So what color is the big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the nosed
Right.
reindeer. I just need red. You
Right.
heard mid-70s. I don't need the mid and S.
Right.
I just need the 70s.
70, yeah.
So I'm gonna take it. That's a good one. Your child is doing the math?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Ryan, what do you got going on with that thing, man? I see all kinds of
don't
colors.
know.
Yes, you do.
Red, blue.
Are you resetting it?
Yeah, I have a couple times.
Okay, did you get any other color back after you reset it?
Oh yeah.
Like what?
The red, purple, blue.
All of them have come back?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so-
all up like in there.
So whenever you get a color, you should literally stand still and reset, and then see if the color comes right back. So those little green ones, like I don't worry about that. It's normally from your motion. Guys, we move around, we talk with our hands. Like I get that kind of motion. But if you get a blue, it's literally like stop, click reset, and see if it goes back to blue. Like that should be the kind of motion that you should be going through. Try to be as still as possible. So you telling me that you've gotten red, blue, yellow? I'm like, yeah, we're probably continuing the walk as you've got those colors. So it's always a stop and see if it's a legit something coming out of the device, or is it coming from your motion. All right, any other crazy letters coming out of yours?
Nothing that seems to stop.
I turned it down.
Lots of U's in there.
I know.
Yeah.
Go ahead
I
and reset it
know.
and get it to
Tomorrow I was something.
Which was this upper.
Yep, counterclockwise.
Let's
Turn
see,
it back
let
in
me
quarter
try
turn
the
to 9
button.
o'clock. Put it on the 9.
No.
Nope, you're on to the 3.
Oops.
I just
There
want
you
to see
go.
how close I need to get to before it goes out.
Maybe that's why it's going off so much.
Yeah,
The
like,
arrow's
are
pointing
we
out.
standing too
Oh,
close
okay.
to you?
Well, I
when-
can't
when
see
it
the
starts
arrow.
going
It's
You
out?
can
dark.
feel it.
I can feel it.
You could feel like it's facing 9
That's pretty
o'clock.
wide
You
open
just
space,
turn it
so
all the way down
you
to
shouldn't
6.
be running into any,
Go back
like,
up to
Yeah.
9.
electricity or something.
Over there.
Sorry, I'm a nerd like that.
Yeah, isn't that a little dark
See,
area?
like
All
right
now
there.
Hit
Yeah, right
reset.
there.
That was from your motion. Because again, if it wasn't, it would have went right back to purple. That was my whole point. Have you seen
I
any
need
other numbers come
Prius.
up?
There was a 30-something.
30
plus
something?
in there, yeah.
Where were you?
Over by the pothole.
Still, like over there, that's
Yeah, it was
the
that
area.
We're
pothole.
basically in the mansion, so I'm not surprised. I sent them up into that corner in hopes that they would find out what happened to the mansion because they would be inside of it.
What
So,
happened
hot
to
stuff
the
piece, and I'm going
mansion?
to explain all of these answers before we leave and part ways, like to the next spot. But I want to kind of give this another opportunity to give us something.
We can go back to that corner to see if we hear anything. So he's saying hot stuff. I'm guessing it burnt down like every other place in Charleston.
Yeah.
What happened to the mansion? What happened to Eliza's mansion?
Say 15 degrees.
15-degree difference. So again, and that's the ambient.
How many total children were in the family? They say 5 to 1. It's all or nothing.
Again, I've only had this guy about a month. He normally shows up there.
Magic touch.
Magic touch. Go figure, it's my gear. All right, so let's get away from football players and ponies. Let's go deep dive into history, see what we can find for the next one.
I have an O.
So we have a dark O, like Donnie Darko.
D-R-K-O.
D-R-A-O?
Like K.
Oh, D-R-K. Taco.
Nick, I got the boring job this time. Mine hasn't done a damn thing.
Mine isn't that damn thing.
Well, we all trying to walk in.
I know. I need to pay attention to my walking before I'm on the ground.
Hey, look both ways.
Yeah. You can probably be like looking at your device.
Yeah.
Jill, do you have any more letters?
I have D-R-K-O.
Loser. I'll write it down. It doesn't mean anything to me. Of course, it could be something relative to Big John. We're still only 1 block away.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Where
Sorry.
did loser come from?
She heard it,
Oh.
Loser.
Oh.
It could be just a radio sweep, but
but that's what you
it was
want.
prominent. It was like, loser.
But that's exactly what you want, no matter
Okay,
how
so I
silly
got a
you
cold
think you're
spot
going
over
to
here.
Oh.
Right?
Is that the loser?
Right up here. Like 10 degrees, 10 to 15.
That is the windshield hydro. Okay, see? That's why you guys keep me around. So, spirit boxes, again, kind of reiterate, you are listening for those song lyrics and DJs. If you guys hear drop it like it's hot, I want to know that you heard drop it like it's hot. Does that make sense now? Again, because the word hot might mean that there was a fire in the location that we were in. So again, it's about putting the clues together.
I heard no rain back there, but I didn't mention
No
it.
rain.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good, because we're hopefully not going to have any until after we're done.
We
So-
had plenty of that yesterday.
Yeah, that's why it didn't work. I woke up and see nobody booked, and I was like, cancel, I'm taking the night off. It's Disney Plus day.
Yeah.
So I sat around watching Disney Plus movies and got all caught up. All right, so where the heck are we? First off, spirit boxes, including my word list. We are not going to be getting questions here. I'm not going to give you all the answers here, so I'm going to be withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to give you questions like, hey, what color was George Washington's white horse? Like, again, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes or your Ouija board. So, what is this place? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up basically right where we're at, all the way across, and then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the lot. So again, and it did go over that median. It was a pretty good sized lot. So who the heck were these people? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. You guys see why we look for the secondary verifier now? Because I need to know which Chuck we're chatting with. We never know which one's going to come through. But anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's boring stuff. We don't want to talk politics, right? So let's talk about Eliza. She had a much cooler story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. If we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect to hear numbers like 12 and 14. Okay, it's going to be according to today's standards. And the reason I bring that up, what do you got?
No.
I thought you were like raising your hand like you're in class.
I'm scratching his back.
But he has to put a hand up, like, oh, that's it right there. Love it. So, Charles, her husband, was over double her age when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap in colonial times, definitely a creepy age gap now. So again, kind of that's the expectation of numbers you should be listening for. But anyway, she married Charles because her father, who was over in England, thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put. In 1744. So you don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country. So she did marry him out of love, just so everybody gets that clear and out of the way. So she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. I can promise you that. What the hell is indigo? It makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. None of you are wearing it tonight. Awesome. Good job. I normally have at least one example. Ryan, it was your job tonight, man. Did you not get the memo? I faxed it over.
I was going to wear my jean jacket. I totally left it at home.
With all the patches on it?
Yeah.
From like 1994? Yeah, got it. So, I'm showing my age now. Man, I gotta stop.
You showing my age, so man.
When she got this indigo, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from the slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot and humid here. Once she figured it out and experimented, she moves it down south a little bit further to another plantation, turns it into a huge cash crop. She calls her father up and says, rice plantations are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with the indigo. So now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's her business, that's the boring shit. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here, right? So I'm going to throw a couple of like loose questions out there, but I am going to give some focus questions for the spirit boxes, because really we're only using 2 of them. So I want you to focus on Eliza's death. So you can ask anything you want to about her death. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, very specific non-yes and no questions. So hopefully we get some answers out of that. With yours, I want you guys to kind of focus on the kids. I told you there's at least one. His name was Charles. There's more. Ask how many, what their names were. Leave it alone. The reason being, don't poke the bear. There's a tragedy among those kids. If you poke the bear, all activity will stop, including any readings we're going to get from Ryan's names. So again, the other piece that I want you to kind of go after is the mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. Did you get an answer? See if you can get a date of when that happened. We do get the date often, and I'm talking like month, day, year, all in the same evening.
Wow.
So again, crazy. Yes.
Wow.
Yep, it happens. And keep in mind, because basically 3 people are going to be asking questions, the answers can go anywhere. Might come up on my word list. Might come up here on the Ouija board. They might get your answer. You're back up and good. You just bumped the camera, that's all. So, with that said, I'm going to have you guys kind of spread out a little bit. I do have to keep Ryan behind. We are in a space where there's vehicles, so we're going to stay away from vehicles altogether, no going in between and that kind of mentality. If somebody's going to their car, camera people, I want you to just go the opposite way. We look like vloggers out here, which we're not. The funny thing is both your videos go to YouTube, so technically we are. But at the same token, just go the opposite way. Yours is nice and easy to hide because it's a cell phone, but you look like a Ghostbuster out here. Like, so that's why the shortest person normally gets that camera, because it's much easier to hide. So good on you. See how she stood up? That's why she just stood up on the platform. Alright, so I'm going to work with Ryan for a few minutes, and I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. What have you heard? What have you seen? And I'll be taking lots and lots of notes. So spread out, go have some fun. Ryan, stay back with me. Have you seen any numbers at all?
Maybe not by the dumpster. They were by the 43. So I'm wondering if he has these programmed for time. Like he knows when he's going to be in which area.
I wonder what happened to the estate here.
The mansion?
What happened to it?
How many kids were there? How many kids total? What was the family name? You forgot.
Eliza? What happened to Eliza? What happened to the family? What happened to the indigo farm?
How many total children were in Eliza's family? It's nice how he mixes in the history. That's like part of the tour.
What happened to Eliza?